Good afternoon, viewers, on this sunny day in Gauteng, South Africa. I am Taurai Jani, and I am the host of Emancipation in Tendai. And today I'm joined by the one and only Taurai Jani. Alright?
Thank you so much for your invitation, Tendai. I appreciate it a lot. Hello, viewers. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for supporting us on the previous episodes of our series that we did. And we are looking forward to give you another power-packed series on leadership.
So, this week as I was going through my weekly research on certain topics, like the last video we did on entrepreneurship, this week I was going through leadership, right?
Yeah.
And my main focus was on the leadership of Africa as a whole. And looking at the current state of the leaders that we have in Africa, I came to find something that they all have in common. Whether it was the leaders of the past or the leaders of now, they all have something in common. And that one thing that I came to see they have in common is that their ability to reason or to think, not there. They do not think beyond what they see. They think for the now and they think in the moment. So through that, I just saw that the leaders that we have here in Africa are lacking mentally. So based on that, I wanted to know what is your take on the leaders of Africa?
Okay, the biggest problem we have, especially here in Africa, it's the problem of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
When I say poverty, it's not poverty as in the physical state, but it's poverty mentally. Mental poverty.
Okay.
Whereby someone lacks a proper way of thinking in a certain way. And it reminds me of this other quote, when King Solomon was quoted saying, "Woe to a land when a slave becomes king." Woe to a land when a slave becomes king. You know, a slave physically can never become a king. It's very impossible. But there is mental slavery. Those people can be a leader, but mentally he's enslaved. So his thought pattern or his thinking process or the way he thinks is different from the way he's expected to think. The reason why it's like that, it is because those people come from a poor background. So whenever someone comes into power, he tries by all means to amass resources to himself. So he has to take things to himself before he starts building the economy. So we are led by people of such caliber. And that makes development in our own countries very impossible. And it's a chain. Because if a slave comes to power now, all the people he's going to take in are slaves mentally.
That's true.
Even if he chooses his successor, it's going to be the same.
So it becomes this ongoing cycle after cycle. And that is one of the things I picked up when you look at the Zimbabwean economy, for example. After Mugabe, you now have Mnangagwa. So it's pretty much the same thing over and over and over and over again. And to some of these presidents, yes, there are some good things that they do, but the fact still remains, there's so many attributes that are attributed to being a slave mentally that they bring out, stealing state resources, state funds, collapsing the economies. Like, it's things that the average person can see. Like, no, if I was in power, I'll just do this and do this and do, but they do not see it like that because of the slave mentality you're talking about. So given that understanding, what do you think can be done in order for that to stop, in order for us to move from this thing of having leaders that are in power, that have slave mindsets, to having people that are competent, to become leaders that would lead us in the right direction? What do you do? What do you think we need to do?
Because we know we have people who can lead us in every economy. There are people who are called to lead. Because politics mustn't be a career. It's not a career. Politics is a calling. It's a calling. So there are people who are called to venture into politics. And in most cases, those people are not granted the privilege to lead. And because of that poverty mentality, it makes one hungry for power. So when one gets into power, especially when he is a slave mentally, he tries by all means. He doesn't use his power or his position or anything to inspire others, but he uses his power to manipulate others. Even those with potential, they are manipulated by his ability, his power up there, because he'll be using the power in the wrong direction. Because as a leader, you don't have to manipulate people. Don't use your power to manipulate, but you have to use your power to inspire people. Because your purpose or your duty or obligation, your main obligation as a leader is to make more leaders. If you can't make more leaders, you are not a leader. Because we have different types of leaders. Those people who are poor, they take first before they start giving. So the moment you start taking today, let's say today you take something like $500. You take it today. Tomorrow, you can't give $500, but you will be wanting something like 1,000. Because the more you take, the more you want. Money can never be enough. Resources can never be enough. So those people are suffering, or those people are being controlled by what I personally call the feed my pocket first policy, which kills an economy. That policy is very dangerous, and it's common in those people who are poor mentally. And it's common in those people who come from a poor background. It doesn't mean to say if you come from a poor background, you'll be poor in life. No. There is a mentality, there's a state of mind that a leader has to possess. So if that state of mind, or if that teaching that positions the mind in a certain way is missing in a person, that makes that person poor. Which is why the qualities of a leader will not be present in that person. Because there are some processes, there are some teachings that that person has to go through. There is a process that every leader has to go through. But in most cases, most African leaders do not go through that process. They don't go through that process. And they will never want to go through that process. And they don't entertain that process, which is why our economies are as they are today.
Collapsing. Wow. What you're saying now just brought to mind, because I'm a big football fan. If you're coming from maybe, let's say, an academy that's not so well, you're not developed in the right way. Your technical ability, cognitive ability, physical ability. When you get to the higher leagues, and maybe let's say they make you the captain of the team, you will always underperform, because the stages of development you had to go through were not there. Now that you're in the bigger stage, which is maybe the Premier League, La Liga, or whatever, it's now time for you to show up. But because the foundation, those development stages were lacking, so there's no way you're going to be competent enough to perform at that high level or give the results that people want. So you're just as good as one of these leaders who just jumps from their point A to point B. You're my friend, I'm the president, tell you, hey, you next in line. What do you have that qualifies you to be next in line? There's nothing. A friendship cannot qualify someone to become a leader. Because the moment we think that, we've lost the plot. I cannot have you running $1 billion company based off friendship. You don't have the capabilities to run that company. So what are we doing? And I feel like these people don't reason that far. Why? I do not know. And it's something that baffles me. Like, don't people sit down and think? Like, don't people take time to just sit down and process things? Like, why am I doing this? Why is this the way it is? if I'm a leader, okay, I'm looking at my economy. The economy is bad. People are suffering. People are dying of starvation. There's no money circulating in the economy. There's no jobs. Sanitation. Don't these people sit down and think of that? Like, it's just something I don't understand. Like, why don't they think that far? Is it an issue of the money is too much? Does something overcome them? Because I'm also someone who believes in before anything physical happens, it starts in the spirit.
Yeah.
So, is it a spiritual problem that they have that they've not dealt with? Like, there are things that are after them, or things that are stopping them from doing certain things that are in the spirit?
No, it's not a spiritual thing. Because in the spirit, the spirit has given them the ability to do things. So it's your choice of what gets into your mind. It's your choice of what you let into your mind. Because whatever you let into your mind, it gives your mind a state. It transforms your mind into something else. So whatever you let into your mind, whatever gets into your mind, whatever that is processed by your mind, for whatever, for retrieval, for whatever you want to do, is the one that conditions your mind, is the one that gives you the power to act in a certain way. So if you are a leader who is doing the things in the negative way, that is not spiritual, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
That's your choice, because you chose the wrong things to do the right thing. So you can never be right. So if you fail to do the right thing, you know what needs to be done, but the ability to do that thing you don't have, because you know I have to go there, but how to go there is the problem. Because as a person or as a leader, you have to know, you have to be able to know each time and again that I am moving from here to there. I have to move from here to there. How do I have to move from here to there? Where do I have to move to? And when do I have to move to that certain point? So if you lack that thinking, if you lack that knowledge, there's no way you are going to lead people. So the only way you lead people is through manipulation. Because if you don't have those qualities, because leadership is not about power. Leadership is about serving others. Leadership is more of inspiring people. So if you happen to inspire people, that's when they will vote you into power. That's when they will put you into power. You don't put yourself into power. If you put yourself into power, you yourself, you are in power because you put yourself there. You are a dictator. You understand? So there is there are qualities. In fact, there are qualities that constitutes a true leader. You understand? There are qualities that constitutes a leader. A leader is not a leader because he's learned. A leader is not a leader because he went to school and studied leadership. No, leadership doesn't make you a leader. You can study leadership, but become the very worst leader in the entire lifetime. So leadership is not about your school grades. Leadership is not a title. It is a responsibility because it comes with a list of duties, obligations that needs to be accomplished. And you cannot accomplish those things without the help of others.
That is true.
So if someone has a poverty mentality, if someone is in power and he is poor mentally, people will suffer. People will suffer. Because he's not even concerned about those people he's leading. Because in most cases, we tend to take people who are not called to be leaders into places of leadership. We have different people. We have comrades. We have constituents. We have a confidant. A comrade is just someone, we can say a comrade. A comrade is a person. A comrade is not a soldier. It's a person. It's not a soldier, because people usually comrades because you went to war, you did this, but comrade is just a person. I can just call you Comrade Denzel, Comrade Tendai. The term comrade is a person who does he faces a situation. I ask you to come and help me in that situation. The moment I become victorious, or the moment I overcome that situation, I dump you. That's a comrade. Then there's a confidante. A confidante is a person who you can confide in, and that confidante doesn't have loopholes. Whatever you put inside him doesn't leak. That's a confidante. The constituency is a place. There are people who are designed for you to establish in them. You understand? So if you are a comrade and you are a leader, the nation will go down. Leadership is not about a relationship. Leadership is not about friendship. Leadership is not about being my neighbor or anything else. Leadership is a quality. In fact, leadership is a responsibility. There are qualities that you have to have for you to be a leader. You can't just be a leader because you are older than everyone else.
That is true.
Even the youngest can lead you in a very intelligent direction. I can give you an example of Ibrahim Traore. He took over from who? From those guys.
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso. Yeah. But now, can you see how he's developing his country?
Yeah.
The reason is not because he is in the army. No, the reason is because mentally he's equipped. Mentally he's ready. He was empowered to lead. He was empowered to develop. He was empowered to help. He was empowered to be a savior of their nation. And their nation has changed a lot. There are a lot of developments happening in Burkina Faso ever since he came to power. But how many leaders do we have here in Africa? Not mentioning anyone. How many leaders do we have here in South Africa? Not in South Africa, in Africa. Plenty of them.
There's plenty,
But who is developing his nation like Ibrahim Traore is doing? You can name a few.
Just a few, a handful.
If not less than 4.
Yeah, through a handful. And that is the problem we're having in Africa. Because we keep on recycling the same mistakes over and over and over again until we don't learn. Because there's a saying that says, in order for you to change your reality or your direction, you need to stop repeating the mistakes of the past. Because if you continue to repeat those mistakes, the outcome is just going to be the same. Especially with the people of Africa. You know, I always say this, like, if people really want change, they should be willing to die for change. And I don't mean people should go out there and start killing each other and whatnot, but with these guys that are in power, these so-called leaders that we have, when the people talk, or maybe the people go and vote, you know the elections are either going to get rigged or something is going to happen to benefit whoever is in power. You understand? We won't mention names or whatever, but there's a lot that goes on with these things. So I feel like in order for change to happen, people need to be willing to sacrifice their own lives. Because look at Rwanda, for example, the genocide that happened in Rwanda. I think, when was it? In the 90s. Was it in the 90s? When let me rather say in the 1900s. After that, Rwanda. Look at Rwanda today. So I feel like other countries in Africa should have the same if they really want change. Yes, Zimbabwe did it in a way with the mentality. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, we can't say the mentality. You know, what they did is right. They took their land. And it's a very good thing.
Yeah.
I'm 100% supportive. I'm in support of that. They took their land. that land is 100% black.
Yeah, I'm for that.
Yeah, it's 100% black. You understand?
Yeah. No, I'm for
So-
that. But then what I was just
So-
saying is,
No, listen.
okay, finish.
Yeah.
Finish.
So they took their land.
Mm-hmm.
They took from someone else, from these other guys,
Mm-hmm.
and now they are responsible. They are
Yeah.
100% responsible of their land. Yes, there are challenges.
Yeah.
We can't say a lot. We can't say much.
Yeah.
There are challenges. It's bound to happen. It's normal, and people will be learning. There whatever
Yeah.
in whatever way they are going
Yeah.
to learn. But I want to give you an example of people like we have people like Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln, that United States president. He abolished what? Slave trade. But when he abolished slave trade, what was happening? There were members from in his party who had slaves. But as a leader, he abolished slave trade. Why did he abolish slave trade? He saw that it wasn't a good thing, which is why he had to abolish slave trade. And everyone was against Abraham Lincoln. But because he is a true leader, he knew what was good for the economy. He knew what was good for humanity. Because as a leader, you are working on behalf of humanity, not yourself. You are working on behalf of humanity, not your family only. You are working on behalf of humanity, not your friends only. You are working on behalf of humanity, not those associates of yours only, but everyone in this world, as long as that person is a human.
Yeah.
Because when God created people, he didn't create different races. God created only one race. The only one race that God created was the human race. You and me are the ones who started saying this is black, white, what. There's nothing like a black person. There's nothing like a white person. You can't call yourself a black person when you are more brown than black. You can't call yourself white person when you are more pink than white. Where did they derive those terms from? They were derived from nowhere. It's just a way of trying to classify people, to categorize people, to make some other inferior and some other superior to others, which is why they use the terms black, white. But there's nothing like that. I don't believe in that, because those people who call themselves white are not white. They are more pink than white. But we don't know why they call themselves white. We don't know why they call us blacks. We are not blacks, we are more brown than black. So Abraham Lincoln abolished slave trade. And when those people in his party started complaining, you know what he said? I have said nothing but what I am willing to live by. And if it be the will of the Almighty God for me to die by. And he was assassinated. He was assassinated. And that guy was one of the best presidents of the United States of America. Not all these guys who are in power now.
Right now, yeah, true.
Imagine he ruled how many years? A long time ago.
Yeah.
But he is still recognized as one of the best presidents of the United States of America. Why do they recognize him like that? It's because of the qualities. It's not because of his academic qualification. It's not because of his leadership degree, his leadership studies or whatsoever. But that guy was called to lead. So those are the people we have to follow.
Yeah.
Look at Martin Luther.
With the king.
Martin Luther said the same statement. I'm not afraid of anyone. After he did his speech, whereby he was saying, I've been to the mountaintop. He said, I'm not afraid of anyone. I'm not afraid of what they are going to do to me. You understand? Because he had seen something, because he had a passion for whatever he was doing, because he was a leader. He was leading people, and those people he was leading, he didn't use his powers to manipulate them, but those are the same people who said, you leaders. And he didn't invite them to join him, but he was just focusing on his goal.
Yeah.
Because he was strong enough to inspire people, they followed him. So a leadership inspires. His following come from inspiration. You don't force people to vote for you. You don't force people to follow you. People follow by being inspired. If you can't inspire, you are not a leader. Because a leader has to have a passion for what he does. A passion is a feeling or a desire that is stronger than death. It's something that you say, I'm ready to die for what I'm doing. If you want to become a leader and you are not ready to die for leading people, you are not yet ready for leadership. If you are ready to die for what you are doing, you are a true leader. Not to kill people. Not to kill people because you are a leader. No. But if you are ready to die, not that people are going to kill you, but you are doing it to the extent that you are saying, even if death comes, I'm okay, I'm fine, I won't stop, I won't back off. That is the thing. So that's why King Solomon was quoted saying, woe to a land when a slave becomes king. You see what a slave does? A slave doesn't inspire. A slave uses his power to manipulate. He forces people to follow. You'll be following him. You'll be chanting those chants, whatever. But knowing very well in your mind that I don't like this guy. But what is forcing you to follow him is his power that he can use to manipulate you. And you can never go against that power. That is the disadvantage. That is the most painful thing. That we are forced to do what we don't want to do. We are forced to make statements that we shouldn't be making because we don't have the power and we don't have the rights. In most cases, in most African countries, there are constitutions, standing constitutions, but they don't work. Because the leadership is more powerful than the constitution. Meaning to say, the people are not even represented by anyone or anything in the economy. In their own economy. It's only the leader who decides what to do, when to do it, and who must do this. That is what is killing our African nation.
And also with what you said now is people follow because of the power of the leader. And you also talked about be willing to die. A lot of people are afraid to die if they go against that power, whoever is in power, just by merely saying something that might offend or something that is the truth. In most cases, it's the truth. You speak the truth, you're afraid. Once I speak the truth, tomorrow they're going to come after me. Boom. There, I'm dead. So giving reference to what we said earlier on, in order for change to happen in most places in Africa, people are going to have to be willing to, to sacrifice. It might be themselves, their time, money, or whatever, but then something has to give in order for change to come in this mother Africa.
Yeah, even if you take a look at the Libyan guy, Gaddafi.
Muammar Gaddafi, yes.
Muammar Gaddafi died for nothing. He died for nothing. He did nothing wrong. That guy was a leader, but it's because of some other people jealousy that they started blackmailing him, and we ended up having a picture like Muammar Gaddafi is the one who's wrong, but not knowing that we, the people, were the ones who were wrong.
And that is the thing, I'm not going to mention names, but when they make it seem as if whoever is in power and doing the right thing is the one who's wrong. I'm not going to mention which parties do that, but there's certain people from a certain region of the world that when they have interests in your country, they make it seem as though whoever is in power and is opposing them is the one that is wrong. And usually people have this narrative of following the people that are from that side, thinking they're what? Superior, inferiority complex, like what you're talking about now. They make you feel like you're inferior. So everything that they have to say is right. And everything that our people have to say is wrong. And that is the case with most of our leaders. I'd have tried to bring change, like you said, Muammar Gaddafi. What's the other guy? I think it was it the Congo? There was Martin Luther King. But there's another one from the Congo. Was it the Congo? What's his name? No, what's his name? But it was from, I think it was in the 1900s, but it was in the Congo. Looking at Paul Kagame as well. They're trying to twist things about him, hey, this, that. But yes, that's how it is. But then people need to be willing to sacrifice. Something has to give. Something has to give.
Because as a leader, there are some things that you don't have to take from someone outside your vision. Because as a nation, you are enough to build your nation. To some extent, you don't have to seek advice from an external part. Start with your nation first. Build the nation with the people of your nation first. If you fail, seek advice from those who have succeeded in doing that same thing. Let's say, for example, I'm leading a certain nation. If I try building my nation with my people, then we fail. I can go to some other nations that have prospered. I seek advice from there. I don't have to board a plane to go somewhere. I can go those close by, within that are surrounding me. Yeah.
That is true.
Because you never know what happens. You might board a plane going to somewhere, to some other people who are interested in your nation. They can tell you something that is destructive, and you won't build anything. They will take advantage of that. They come in and they can take over. So to some extent, as a leader, you have to be able to discern. You have to be able to know why you are in that place of leadership. And you have to have a vision that must be shared to everyone. Everyone has to know what is happening. What is happening in our country. How are we going to do this? Who is going to do this? If I want this, who am I going to consult? If I want this, who am I going to ask for? Because as a native citizen of that nation, I have the right to develop it. I might not be in place of leadership, but I am a citizen of that nation. I have the right to develop my nation. I have the right to protect my nation. So whatever that is being done in a wrong way, I have to correct. But if you don't want advice, if you don't heed advice, leadership is far from you. Yes, we can call you a leader because you are there. But truly, you are not a leader. You are there to get something. You are there to just get something.
Monetary gain.
Yeah, there is a policy that is controlling you. FMP.
So is that
feed my pocket first policy?
Guys should know that. You guys should know that and take that down. Feed my
pocket first policy.
Yeah, I know. This is a lot.
That's one of the qualities that a slave mentality has. And those with the slave mentality are common in that quality. That quality makes them common because everyone has that mentality. Feed my pocket first policy. They just take things. They take resources from people. They take resources from their own country. They take resources from their own divisions, whatever. They'll be taking resources instead of using those resources to benefit the people of that nation. They take to benefit themselves, which is why I've called it the feed my pocket first policy. It's a stigma.
I feel like this explanation brought on what you quoted from King Solomon has been very interesting. Interesting and why? Because you dive deep into it. And with this understanding, I hope it will ignite something in someone, because you don't really need to touch 1,000 people. All you need to do is ignite just one mind.
Yeah.
One mind can make a difference. So hopefully with this, guys, one of you out there could be inspired enough to make the change that Africa is waiting for. You know? But yeah, this is me, Tendai, signing out. Emancipation with Tendai. Taurai, do you have anything to say?
Thank you so much. Until the next episode, stay motivated, stay inspired, stay empowered.
Sure.